Hello. We'll get started in just a bit. We're off hours, so I don't know how many people are going to join us. We're off schedule, but that's okay. 3D Tech Guy made it. Looks like YouTube's going. I'll ping deep divers. So if you want, we have a deep divers role on Discord. This is a more European friendly time. Sorry, I should have put in the message in the ping. Dave's up. Hello, Dave. So if you want to join the Discord, you can go to adafru.it/discord. Questions are welcome, although if they're not, I may not be able to answer them. Hi, Beata. Hey, Dishipu and DCD. Yeah, basically, I should have taken the whole day off, but I am not deep diving next week because I'm taking the whole day off. I will be out of town, so I kind of wanted to do it this week. My microbit is acting up. Yeah, so I said the Discord server. So, hello. My name is Scott. I work on Adafruit, or not on Adafruit. I work on CircuitPython for Adafruit. Hello, Snaky Maker Cat. Adafruit is an open source hardware and software company based out of New York City, Brooklyn. I live and work in Seattle, so I work remotely for them. And yeah, early deep dive because I'm going to go off and do fun things later. And I see that I got a back channel message. Yeah. DCG's just let me know what their plan is. LED column 7 doesn't work and Bluetooth doesn't work anymore. I would suggest talking with the microbit folks. I think they have a support forum, so that's where I would go. Ask the microbit folks on their support forum for help. If you bought it from Adafruit, you go to Adafruit forums, but if it worked and then it stopped working, it's not really a Adafruit problem. So CircuitPython it was happening since I installed CircuitPython. On your, is it a microbit v1 or v2? So CircuitPython is a version of Python that you can install on little tiny computers called microcontrollers. This is an example of a board here from Espressif. Under this metal can here is a C3. I'm looking at my label. It's like the first one I grabbed. It's an example of a little tiny computer. You can run CircuitPython on it. Not most boards, but not this one. You can plug it in, it shows up as a drive. But on the microbit V2 and on this one, the drive functionality doesn't work because native USB support is not available. We have other options for interacting with CircuitPython and programming it. We have a Bluetooth workflow where you can transfer files from your phone or your tablet. We have iOS and Android apps for that. We have support for Bluetooth in Chrome via code.circuitpython.org. And then we also have a Wi-Fi workflow. So you can use Wi-Fi to do it. If you want to use the USB cable, code.circuitpython.org just got support for doing file transfers over USB serial. So it won't show up as a drive, but you will be able to transfer files over that from there. Yeah, so hello Tyeth, hello Snaky Maker Cat, hello DJ Devin3. Devin points out trying to visit the Adafruit forums a couple of minutes ago and they have a human caption in place right now. Unsure how long that will be for. Yep, I actually had to do one myself just recently. I know that the forums, there was even a blog post about some like denial of service attack or something on the forums. So yeah. You can also go to Discord for unofficial support, which is the URL adafru.it/discord. So this is a deep dive. It's where I talk about internals of CircuitPython and debugging and things. Right now is a different time. I usually stream at 2 p.m. Pacific, but I'm not actually working a full day. I came in to stream, honestly, which maybe I shouldn't have, but I like streaming, and I'm not going to be able to stream next week. Foamy Guy will be streaming, I think, next week in my spot. So thanks in advance to Foamy Guy for that. I will be out of town, for sure. All right, so we have a little bit truncated. I'm not going to be able to do 2 hours. I usually do 2 to 4 about that, but I'm going to be doing more like an hour right now. So if folks have questions, I'll try to help them. Select all squares which do not contain an elephant. Yeah, I just had to click the button. I didn't have any of the like image things to do, but we'll see. I was thinking about doing forum support as well here. So I just got in a little bit ago. I had some lunch and was going through my email. But one thing, the thing I did primarily this week was I figured out the issue with the funhouse. And I did git bisect to do that. So I thought it could be a good thing to show off git bisecting. So git bisect is a tool or a functionality of Git, which is a source control. And git bisect, you can tell it, hey, like this one works, this commit works in history. At this point in time it worked, and now it doesn't work. Or at this point it doesn't work. Figure out between these two commits, which commit caused something to break. And so what it manages for you is you take that whole range and it puts it in the middle, and then you say yes or no. And if it's still bad, then it then looks on the left-hand side, and everything after that is not interesting. And then you split it again, and you split it again. So that's why it's called bisecting. And that's kind of the fastest way to figure out which issue or which commit caused an issue. So what I thought I would do, and I was most of the way through this, is I was going through my email. Let me pull up my desktop. Going through my email, and I will put this down too. This is my other browser that I don't usually show. But I was thinking about finding an issue, an active issue, and actually doing just a bisect on it. Now the tricky part is you actually like build and run something to see if it's good or bad. So the git bisect will manage like switching your repository state from commit to commit, and then you have to tell it whether it's good, it works still, or it's no longer works, for it to know kind of where to look after that. So I was starting to go through here. This is done. That's a library thing. This is a forum support stuff, and I meant to look through that, but I haven't done that. So this is a tricky one, and maybe I need the overhead for it, but this Qualia S3 displays glitching with 9.1, but not glitchy with 9.05. I tried with this, and it looks okay to me. I just tested 9.1.2 in the alpha 2351 and still seeing the same glitches on the display. I saw some glitches when I restart. And then Tim's got this example too. So this is something that we could bisect, although I'm not convinced I can reproduce this reliably. So that's kind of like a prerequisite to using git bisect, is like you have to have a like process for being able to tell if something works or not. This is just forum stuff. Type fixes. I was gonna see if there was another, what GitHub issue I should use to show git bisect. So I'm going Adafruit CircuitPython issues, and I'm gonna look at 9.1x in particular. I think Dan fixed this. And maybe what I should do is just do a quick review pass. Although these ones aren't urgent. I think they got merged. The urgent ones got merged in. What does this say? How does it fail? Does it fail pretty clearly? Invalid argument. Okay, so this... This seems pretty straightforward. I have a guess as to like, it's just an ESP IDF update that broke this. But it's a pretty clear bug that should be easy to reproduce. And so maybe this will give me a good example of just like, I can show git bisect. How does that sound to folks? Let's figure out what change. Oh. I'm installing packetry. I got, they showed this on the shows on Wednesday, but a Cynthion. It's a high-speed USB capture device. But I have not tested it yet, so I was installing packetry, which is the interface for that. But I think this analog buff thing is, like, I could probably find it on my own, but I think it's a good chance to show git bisect. So I'm looking for, I have like a ton of ESPs on my desk here, but it's actually an ESP ItsyBitsy. Hi, Josh. How's it going? So I think this is like a pretty clear, it's going to be a pretty simple fix, I hope. So a simple fix, a simple thing to know whether it's working or not. So now I just need to find my ItsyBitsy ESP32 if I have one. Any ESP32 should actually show the problem as well. I thought I had one board of every type here, but DVI out, cowbell. Which qtpi is this one? Hey, it's an ESP32 qtpi, so this will work even if it's not an ItsyBitsy. It's still an ESP32, and I suspect that it has the same bug. So let's do that. So I'm just gonna plug it in, and I'm gonna hold boot while I do it, which is the one closer to the thing. All right. Simple fix, no chance. We'll see. It could be really hard. The one that I actually fixed, the Funhouse thing, was not an easy bug. Custom ESP32s for a project. Oh, how fitting that we're gonna do ESP32 work then. So we're gonna switch to repos. CircuitPython, and then I'm going to fetch Adafruit, so I start from the latest thing. Just type it in my password. Zarlin asks, how is the work on the RP2350 going? Eagerly awaiting my Pico 2. I think it's going quite well. There's been a couple bugs, and low power is not implemented yet. I did see a YouTube video about low power testing with the RP2350, and I'm very keen on watching that, but I haven't gotten a chance because there hasn't been a lot of example code for low power. Analogbufio. Most things are turned on. I was able to turn on RGB matrix and USB host on the RP2350. I think those are in pretty good shape. But low power is the missing thing that I still want to do. And then there's a bug with the like generic touch implementation that's been filed, and I haven't taken a look at that yet either. I know Jeff mentioned low power in his original video, but he also said that like he wasn't able to get it working. I've been waiting kind of like for the Pico SDK to actually have an API for it, and they've been telling me for a while that they're intending on doing it, And like, because I know they're intending on doing it, I'm kind of like trying to kind of just sit and wait for it. But I'll probably do it pretty soon. So here we are at the tip of main. And oh, I actually want to do make fetch submodules. So I want to try to get my repo in like the true state. And with submodules, that can be tricky. I do have some modified content, and I think that's okay. But I do want to make sure that the state is as I expect. This is just debugging some logging stuff, and that's fine. It's just making the logging cleaner. So if I'm going to build for ESP32, I'm going to export my environment and then do make board Adafruit qtpi ESP32. Is it the pico? I guess it would be. For equals dev serial. Do you think it's that? Probably. And I'm going to do clean and then flash. Is Adafruit going to make a board around the RP2350A, the brother to the one on the Pico 2? The Pico 2 has the 2350A on it, I believe. The Pico Plus 2 from Pinaroni has the B version, but I think the Pico is the A version. The first board that we'll have is a Feather. I know that's been announced, and then the Metro will probably come after that, and it's a respin. Or it's a little later because we have a version of the Metro with the A chip on it, but we want more pins. So it's the one that will be produced is actually going to have the B on it. And I don't know. I might have it. I have a version of the Metro that will not be ever released, but that's because the one with the B chip on it will be better. The A version shares the high-speed TX lines. Josh says, can CircuitPython run on any ESP, or does it have to be an Adafruit board? It does not have to be an Adafruit board. There are lots of ESPs that it runs on that are not done by Adafruit. The reality is that a lot of the work to get CircuitPython running on a chip is chip-specific, not board-specific. So if you have an ESP board that is from somebody else, first check to see if we don't have support for it already. And then second, there's easy ways. If you go on learn.adafruit.com, there's a how to add CircuitPython to your board. So we're happy to get that merged in and have support for non-Adafruit boards. There's lots of non-Adafruit boards. How do I work with the I2C character display in CircuitPython with the microbit? So the way that I always find things, so I go to learn and I'll let that build in the background. Or actually, if it's a product from Adafruit, what you can do is you go in the shop and you set it's a character display. So you can find you said it's an I2C character display. So there's this I2C SPI LCD backpack. That's probably what you're talking about. You can pull up the product page, and then when guides add products that they use, the reverse happens as well. So you can find the guides that reference a product from the product page. So you can just click to here for the primary guide, and now it will tell you how to use it. Pinouts and stuff, Arduino, and then there's a separate thing for how to wire it up for CircuitPython, what libraries you need, and then some example code here. So check out learn.adafruit.com. I'll drop it in the chat for you too. But that's a trick I do, is I start from the product page and go from there. DJ Devon3 said, I think Lady Ada said the RP2350 Feather was A, but redesigning it with B since it came out since the first prototype. No, that's the Metro. The Feather will have the A version, but the Metro will have the B. And I think the B will have, or the Feather should come out first, I think. I think they're ahead of them. That was closer to what we wanted to release. And they both have the like connectors for HSTX. So I have like I don't know if I showed this. I think I did. This is my HSTX when I showed it on Deep Dive before. So it's this awful breadboard between an HDMI plug and this 22-pin ribbon. This is the same pinout that the Raspberry Pi 5 has for displays and cameras, but this only works for displays. And then this is going to a capture, USB capture thing from the shop. That's how I did the deep dive for the HSTX before. That breadboard is going to be an all-in-one board that Lamore's been working on. It doesn't exist yet. So that is coming. Okay, let's check on our ESP, and we have the wrong. I'm gonna remove the clean because I don't want to do that. And then, do I not have it on data? It's plugged in, but I did do a reset and my computer was a little unhappy. So let's dev serial. Okay, so let me just, there we go. I saw a light blink. So I'm gonna hold boot, press reset, these tiny buttons. And now if I list it, now I get the Silicon Labs. It is the right one. So I'm not gonna clean because I don't wanna have to rebuild it again. But this time this will load it onto the qtpi. And then you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna pull up Chrome and I'm actually gonna use code.circuitpython.org because Melissa recently added support for file transfer over USB serial, which is what the ESP32 does. So it's staying in the bootloader, so I'm gonna hit reset. And, oh, it is blinking. So now I should be able to select the serial device. Oh, good, and it shows you that. So I'm going to select the CP2102, hit connect, and ta-da! And now I'm going to go back to my issue. I'm going to copy this code, go back to Chromium, paste, and then hit save and run. And it's got to ask me what file to do. Overwrite, yes. Ta-da! Ah, so it said invalid pin. Now, this is a different board than the one that they're using. And they're getting invalid argument. And they're using Thonny. This is the way Thonny does it. So let's just take a quick peek at the board definition for the ItsyBitsy ESP32 and figure out what pin it is. So I'm going to pull up Sublime Text. I just did a restart, so I'm starting everything up. And my fans are spinning up as it does all of the indexing. So in ports, expressive boards, we're going to look at the ItsyBitsy ESP32 pins, and they used A3, which is GPIO 38. And then if we look at the qtpi ESP32 pico, A3 is 15, so is there a pin 38 here? There isn't. I wonder if the pico has it. We could try. So the other way you can do pin names is by doing import microcontroller.pin and then do controller.pin.gpio38. That's what it was, right? Save and run. Oh, and I didn't type it in right. I mistyped it twice. Ah, perfect. Okay, so this is the error that they were talking about in the bug. So let's figure out, do they tell us in the issue? Okay, we're 15 minutes. We got 45 minutes here. And let's just figure out when it started not working. I want to find a commit where it fails so that I can do the git bisect and we'll figure out what changed it. So let's warp back in time. Let's do git checkout 9.0.x. And I have a feeling we're going to switch ESP IDS, which will be a little tricky. But we're going to do the make fetch submodules because we changed submodules on us. Yeah, it's kind of annoying switching back and forth. Local changes, local changes. Okay, let's get this clean. So let's ports expressive git checkout. We'll just do away with my changes there. And my tiny USB has changes. And lib Adafruit floppy has changes. Git checkout dot just like gets the checked in version of files. Make fetch all submodules. And now that like looks cleaner. We still have some stuff changed, but I think I got the big ones. The IDF definitely makes it more annoying. Update these. There we go. I think that's closer. And now what I'm actually going to do a new tab because I suspect my IDF state is different. So now I'm going to do away with this one. The export does a lot to like the state of your terminal. So I'm going to do make board again. And this time I'm going to add the clean. So this is, I'm going to get it into bootloader mode. I wonder if I have to worry about Chrome being unhappy. Okay, just turn that page off. I've not done that with it. And in fact, you know, we don't need the Chrome anymore as long as the file system stays the same. Let's split the view top and bottom. Oh, you know what? We can't do that because we only have one serial link. So this is going to flash over the serial link and then we'll have to do TO every time, which is kind of annoying. And we haven't started the git bisect yet. But we'll do it from the like brand new state all the way back to 90x, which might not be possible. We'll have to figure that out. We'll look at we could look at our git graph and figure it out. Because 90x is actually a branch off main. Okay, we flashed, we're writing. ESPs are pretty slow to do this for, but that's okay. It's good to show the process. So I'm doing this and I want to see that it does work. Or at least doesn't give us the same error. Oh, we're in the bootloader still, so I have to hit reset. Disconnect. That's weird. Oh, twist. So it's broken in 905 as well. Okay, so I think we have to go back even further. This might be that it's been broken for a while then. This might make the bisect even more difficult. Okay, so it's still broken in 90x. Let's now go. Oh, it's probably IDF5. And IDF5 is. I was thinking it might be a minor IDF version, but it's probably not. This might not be a good thing to bisect. I wonder how far back we have to go. GitHub, Adafruit, CircuitPython. Let's take a look at what releases we did. So 9.2, we know it's broken. 9.1.2, we assume it's broken because we did 9.0x, which is the equivalent of 9.05, and it's broken. To do a bisect, you have to know when it's a point that it's good. So there's 9.05, 9.1 beta. Let's go two pages back. 9.0 beta 1, update to IDF 5.1.2, and then 8.2.10. 9.0 beta 0. I assume it's that. Alpha 6. 8.2.9. 8.2.8. Alpha 5. Alpha 4. Alpha 2. I wonder if we should just go back to 8.2 and really... It's just a pain managing the submodules to go back that far. This is why if we ever ask you on an issue, like, when was the last time it worked? It can be really helpful. 8.2.5. 8.2.3. 8.2.2. 8.2.1. It was like a year ago. 8.2.0. Okay, so if we want to check like the latest 9, we've got to do 9.0 alpha something. 8.2.7. 9.0 alpha 2. So let's just try it. Check out 9.0.0 alpha 2. When downloading CircuitPython, if my board type isn't explicitly an option, any suggestions on how to ensure I'm installing the right version of CircuitPython? I'm just using an ESP32 dev module. The thing that you want to check is that the flash and the RAM settings are the same between your module and the module that's on the board or thing that you're looking at. Okay. So now we're going to move up 2 and we're going to fetch submodules again, which at some point goes away. Fetch submodules was introduced at some point. But yeah, you want to match up the module with the board. But the board definition doesn't really impact a whole lot. It impacts like if there's external flash, what the external flash is. But going way back in time. I bet it still doesn't work. It's probably an IDF5 problem. It's gonna be annoying, but. I actually had a CircuitPython 8 repository separate, so I didn't have to do that switch from IDF4 to 5, but. Okay. Now we're gonna change to ports expressive IDF. We're gonna do the submodule update again. And we're also gonna go new tab, export. Because you get different compilers and stuff. So we're gonna go make board, clean and flash. Should be able to flash it, but it'll take a little while to build. So I haven't started the git bisect yet because I haven't found a good version. Maybe there was never any good version. Maybe it just always failed. Yeah, I haven't gotten on the walkway train yet. You don't even need CI to build it. We have all the old versions. Actually, that's what I could be doing, is not building it myself. The problem is then I'd have to figure out how to flash it, which I'm kind of lazy about. Like flashing the bin file, because it's an ESP32. This is like getting the state. If you're going to bisect it, it's kind of a good thing to figure out anyway. We keep all the old released versions on S3. So you don't actually have to rebuild it. But loading bin files is kind of a pain. Like the make file knows this command here, the ESP tool pi. That's where I would start. I would just copy that. But again, I'm kind of lazy. Embedded flash, embedded PSRAM. Staying in the bootloader. So now we're going to do our TO line again. Get connected, hit reset. And we still get the same error. Okay. So we need to be more aggressive. Let's go all the way back to 8.2.0. 8.2.0. I need more coffee. I'm not a coffee drinker, actually. This is going to be kind of tricky. Like, it's complaining about, like, directories not empty and stuff. That's unfortunate. And then it says that it failed. Switching, like, submodules back is not pleasant. Embed TLS and lib embed TLS. You know, I think there, now that I think about it, I think there is like a make clean or reset. Oh, remove all submodules. Let's go big. Let's just like delete it all. We'll refetch it again. Luckily I have fiber. Have seen the ESP team using it for reporting IDF changes. They have a simple print flash RAM stack size to serial and walkway returns the data to CI after test runs. Nice. I definitely like need to Like that tooling is really cool. It could be helpful. I just, with regards to simulators, I'm always worried that like the peripherals don't work correctly, but that's going to be true for everything unless you have the actual RTL. It's starting to get warm in here. But I'm not going to stream for, I'm going to stream for 30 more minutes. I guess I could open the window instead of turning on the AC. It is a little rainy, but it should be okay. That's my route. If I need to switch checkouts, I create a new folder and fresh clone. So there is there's this git command called add workspace that allows you to have another checked out folder, but it shares like the git stuff with the other one. So there's like this notion of git workspaces. Hi, Timon. I'm trying to get it to a point where I can get bisect, but it's been kind of a pain. Especially if I'm switching between IDF 4 and 5. It's probably just an IDF 5 bug. For the question about LCD character displays, here's a photo of 1 plus 4 variants of I2C and SPI. Left ones are generic, and those on the right 2 are variants from Adafruit. The displays can have a long row or short row of headers, and most of these displays operate the same way. Yeah, I haven't done character LCDs for a while. Have I done that? Not build system work. Trying to get to the point where I can get bisect. I would like to get back to the build system stuff. I was thinking about how to make it interoperate with CMake. Like make async Python that interops with CMake would be nice. There's this bug that I'm trying to find, but I was gonna try to use it as an example to bisect, which is this analogbufio.BufferedIn fails on the ItsyBitsy 32. Analogbufio is not that old. I could go back to just when it was added to. I did not mean dissect, I meant bisect. B-I-S-E-C-T. Bisecting is the process of taking a range and having it and having it and having it until you find the commit that caused a problem. Unfortunately, to do that, you need a good commit and a bad commit. And I've only found bad ones, so I'm still trying to find like the good commit. Yeah, bisect feels like a class in geometry. What is it referring to in a code sense? So bisect, I think in geometry is like, if you have an angle and you bisect it, you have it in the middle. I think that's what it is in geometry land. And so it's a similar idea with like, if this is the history of my code where like, this is the oldest and this is the newest, and you're trying to find the commit with it from here to here that broke something, bisecting is the process of saying, I'm going to check here, and if it's good, then I could assume that it wasn't broken on this half. If it's bad, then I know it is broken in this half, and I can ignore the top half. Does that make sense? Yeah. So it will even tell you if I'm ever able to run it. It'll tell you like how many steps it thinks it'll have to do to find the commit that broke it. And I just did it there was this bug with the Funhouse where if you typed in import Wi-Fi, it would stop responding to you. And I used git bisect to figure out that it was the change to the max 34, the change to bus.io SPI that I did for the max 3421 support that caused it. It's a great way to narrow down the changes. Dave says it's similar in hardware fault finding. I don't usually have that many versions of hardware, but And I don't do that much hardware stuff, so. Yeah. This is why I was not excited to go to the ESP IDF4. And I'm checking out stuff I don't need. Like, this is checking out ST stuff. That last bug that I did bisect, I didn't have to change the IDF at all, which made it a lot quicker. I wonder if there's some other way I could make it show an example but not make it too hard. Oh, I know what I could do. I could do a bisect to figure out when I added like RP2350 support or something. Like something obvious where you just can't build the board. That could show the process. I should probably do that. This is going to be a problem. All right, this is too much. I don't want to have to deal with all these submodule changes. So I'm actually going to switch back to I'll just check out Adafruit main. I'm going to have to do the same thing. Or at least some of it. Yeah. Oh my gosh. It's such a pain moving from 8 to 9. So I'm just deleting these. And ports. This is another reason like binary or major versions are a pain. Not a Git repository. Is it in there? This is probably what people will point to when they say they don't like bitmap font. They don't like. Come on. Remove all submodules. Big stick. There we go. Now we're on main. And now we need to fetch. How do I... Isn't there a way to fetch just for a specific thing? I don't usually have to do this. And when I was bisecting before, I didn't have to. From the port folder, is that how it is? Fetch all submodules. Is that where it is? Ports expressive. No. I think it is this command though. It's this. Because this is the same script that we use in the CI. Here we go. Zarland says, wouldn't not a test harness written for the areas of the code help kind of like Java so that when you update the code, the test is run against the section of code that makes sure that you did not break things? Test would be great. The problem, the challenge is that a lot of the code that we write, including this code, is interfacing with hardware. Now, Tyeth was talking about the simulator walkWe, which might simulate the hardware, which would be great. But the challenge that we tend to have is that like most of the stuff that we need to test with is actually like testing with hardware peripheral registers and potentially actually like things off the chip itself too. In a pure software world where you're just testing software, that's great. But a lot of the code, not all of it, but a lot of the code that we have, you're actually testing against hardware. And then also for, like, if there's VM changes that we do, then we will actually, there are some good tests that we inherit from Raspberry Pi, or from MicroPython, that we also do as well. So I think what I'm going to do is just, I'm fetching Raspberry Pi stuff as well. And this is going to have a bit of the same problem, but it won't be nearly as bad. So let's just show this off. Let's do git bisect help. And I think it's, we're going to do git bisect start. And then we're going to do bad and then good. So I just want to show it off with 910 versus this FB3F3A. Yes, I did. Nice. Maybe you mistook good and bad revs. When in doubt, do git status. Where are we? We're on Adafruit main. 912. What I want to find is, when did we branch? There's 91X. There's been a jump in the emulated MCUs. The git tree. How do I show the like commit chart? I think there's a way to do it here. Not commit. Network. That was new to old in GitLog. GitLog graph. Thank you. Okay, but I actually just want to see tags. Ugh. My Google foo is. My git foo is failing me here. Here we go. How do I zoom out? Keyboard shortcuts. Network graph. Scroll left, scroll up, scroll right, scroll down, but not zoom. Okay. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be even simpler, because I know that git bisect. I just want to show this. 9.2.0 alpha 1. I think we had an alpha 1 before 2350. And then this FB3F 3A. Waiting for both good and bad commits. Didn't I do that? No. 9.2. No, I guess that was the first alpha. 350. I don't get that. I had this working. I wanted to make it simple. Tithe is helping me out. I should have just done the one that I actually did. Graph tags. Can I do? Nine 9.2.0 alpha 2351. Some good revs are not ancestors of the bad rev. I wonder how bad they should be. It'll tell me. Maybe my bad and good are backwards? That could be it. It could that my bad and good are. Let's see it. Let's see if it. There we go. Okay. Oh, man. So, okay, so we did get things started. We had this 225 revisions left to test after this roughly 8 steps. And then, because of submodules, I'm going to run out of time. I've only got 15 more minutes. What? What am I on? Oh, you know what? Part of my problem is also that I'm dealing with a MicroPython merge, which we did before the latest alpha. Ugh, screw this. Sorry. Let's get status should tell us that we want to get bisect to reset. And let's look at our there is a git log merges only or something, right? Git log merges. So let's just go back before MicroPython. 912, but that's not the one we want. Let's do this one. This is so hard. I'm trying to show something the opposite. Git bisect, so it's bad. 9.1, 9.2.0 alpha 2350, and then this one is bad. So it's yes. I did the wrong thing again, right? I flipped the order. My good and bad are swaps. Okay, so Python, Raspberry Pi. I know. At least people have seen here. So we're gonna say that I want to find the build where I can. It's bad if I can make the SparkFun board because I added it after the initial thing. So the board doesn't exist, so this is good. So I'm gonna say git bisect good. Now it's shifted me again. You know what, I'll just submodule update here. And now I'm gonna make again. And so it built, which is bad. Interesting. So bisect is specifically for if your bad commit is newer than your old commit. So we're gonna call this bad. It's bad that I'm trying to find the commit that I added the SparkFun board for. So it's bad that it's bad that I can build it. So I marked it bad, and now I try to build it again. And it is working again, but it should give me the error. Okay, so it's building again, and now I'm gonna mark it bad again, and it's gonna switch me again. And you can see now it says 6 revisions left and 3 more steps. So we're just going to get submodule to make sure we're at the right place, and we're gonna do make, and it successfully, this is good that it couldn't build it, so we're gonna say it's good. Switched us again, submodule update, make, it's working, so that's bad. In this example, hey, that looks suspect. So now we're on the commit that adds the board. And it's working, which is bad in this world. So we say git bisect bad. And here's what it says. It says, hey, this commit here, 5DC, is the first bad commit. So this is where your badness was added. And that's how git bisect works. When you're done, you say git bisect reset, and it will get you back to where you wanted to be. And I'm not implying that supporting SparkFun is bad, but that was just, I did it after the initial RP2350 stuff, and so this is a way to show how you find commits that do something. Sorry that, I mean, that kind of like is reflective of my experience with Git, the complex parts of Git, where it's just like kind of a slog. And now my repo, my checkout is kind of all messed up because of the trying to switch back to CircuitPython 8, which is bad. So basically I'm going to do the inverse of what I did for the Funhouse bug, which is I tried to bisect it, failed, obviously. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to try to fix it. I'm just going to figure out like, what is the error, what is causing that error, and why is it causing the error, and trying to just fix it. So, sorry. I should have planned the git bisect better, but y'all know this is unfiltered, unprepared for. Oh yeah, I could do search in less. That's a good point, Zarnlin. Any questions before I get out of here? I think I did show bisect could be helpful, but I wish I had a better bug to show you to demonstrate it. Building's really quick. Depending on the bug, if it takes like time to build, and then you actually have to do something to test it. Nice. Zarnlin says, I'm going to mention this at work, this function of Git. Yeah, it's built into Git. It's very handy for those situations. I spent all day on Monday trying to printf my way into figuring out what the Funhouse issue was, and it was very weird. Couldn't figure it out. And so I was like not wanting to give up, figure out what my approach would be, and I decided that bisecting was a good thing because then it narrows down the changes to figuring out what caused it. And once I did that, I was like, oh, I wonder if this is the problem, and I tested it, and it was. You can kind of do something similar if you get down to a certain set of changes. You can actually like try to do half the changes and figure out which parts of it cause the issue too. Anything else that I want to talk about before I go? I'm out next week, or I'm off on Friday next week and Monday the following week for a long weekend. Sorry for the fire truck sounds. It'll be a short week for me, and may do RP2350 stuff, may fix this bug. Because I do want us to get 9.2.0 stable, especially because that's what's got RP2350 support in it. Yeah, I think that's it. My brain's not been in work mode too much today, so that's part of it. If folks have videos or examples of the qualia stuff not working, that would be helpful. That's a whole nother discussion that maybe we'll do in a couple weeks. If folks have suggestions for deep dives, let me know. All right, let's wrap this up. Thank you all for joining me on this deep dive where I struggle with git bisect. Hopefully, we've learned some things about like the bad commit needs to be newer than the old commit, or the good commit, and I demonstrated its ability to find the commit that made a change. That was my goal. I think like I was very happy with the outcome of me using git bisect, so I wanted to bring it up and show folks. I know Dan uses it from time to time too. It is effective if that's an option for you to do some debugging. So this has been another deep dive. Foamy Guy will deep dive with you next week. I should be back the week after for yet another deep dive. Have a great weekend, everybody. I will talk to you next week. If you want to support me, you can go to Adafruit.com, purchase hardware there. If you want to join our Discord server, which is the middle chat here, that's the URL is adafru.it/discord. I think that's it. Maybe I need some coffee. Thanks, Dave, and everybody else for joining. It's been a pleasure. Thanks to DCD in advance, who I suspect will do timecodes, but maybe after the fact. So thanks, DCD, if you made it all this way. Have a great one. And the last thing is, because it was a different time, if you are watching this and want to be notified when times change, go on the Discord and @tannewtme, and I'll add you to the deep divers role. So I've been keeping people updated about what my plan for when to stream this week, because it was a little different, via that deep divers role. So if you want to find out about that, check out deep divers. Anyway, have a great weekend. Thank you all from rainy. Let's see, where's my window cam? From rainy Seattle. Have a great weekend. Thanks for diving with me. I'm going to go walk in the rain. Bye all. Look, you can even see the raindrops. Maybe I'll check the weather before I decide to leave. Bye.